So, this is a Doctor Who podcast. It's a Christmas Doctor Who podcast, and I never ever do this, but I realised recently that maybe I should put in a little warning that there might be some bad language.
Fuck.
But I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it's like, this podcast contains bad language. I was like, is that a thing? I guess it is.
Well, I mean,
Doctor Who's a children's show.
It is a children's show, and especially Christmas is very family friendly. So
yeah,
people could be sitting down around the fire, their bellies full of turkey, and
let's put on I Hate Doctor Who.
Exactly. So maybe we should rein it in.
Maybe.
Reindeer it in.
Laura.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Hello and welcome to I Hate Doctor Who, and it's Christmas time.
I wish I brought my jingle bells.
You should have.
Can you put them in now?
Okay, there you go. They'll have to be. It's traditional with the Christmas podcast that you put jingle bells over everything.
Oh, okay.
So we'll probably put it into
as a bed.
The title. Just all the way through it.
All the way through it. Just like
the sound of gentle
mumbling.
Wind. And my name's Richie and not Gav. Anyone that's been following the podcast at all, the last episode that went up entirely without me knowing. So Gav, who was in the first episode, and Owen, who was in the second episode, kind of colluded to give me a little surprise. And Gav and his friend Phil recorded an entire episode of I Hate Doctor Who, edited it and then put it out. So anyone listening, anyone that's been following the podcast feed at all might have been slightly confused. So yeah, that was just a nice wee surprise, but they basically, the two of them do hate Doctor Who. So they watched an old episode and then talked about it.
Fitting.
Yeah.
It seems to work.
It was actually, I mean, it was interesting because it's probably the only Doctor Who podcast, or the only podcast in the world where the two people hosting it really dislike the subject that they're talking about. So, but it was good. It was quite funny. They kind of treated it with respect. I've got a funny feeling they cut out a lot of stuff where they properly ripped into it. But that was a nice surprise because I was on holiday actually, and I woke up and there was a bunch of YouTube comments from people saying, "Oh, I'm so glad there's a new episode. Oh, I'm so happy to see a new episode. I really like this podcast," which is very nice. But I was really, really confused because I was in the middle of a holiday going, I'm not.
How jet lagged am I? What did I do?
Exactly. So if you haven't listened to that, you should go and listen to it. But
not right now.
Keep a little bit of, not right now, but sort of, as long as you got a little bit of a sense of humour about these things. Where they looked at a Great Show in the Galaxy, and I don't think they enjoyed it. So I'll probably have to try again with Phil. As you've probably noticed by now, there's someone else in the room with me.
Hello.
This is Laura Doherty.
Hello.
Hiya.
I'm Laura.
Laura.
Hi everyone.
Laura, months and months ago, kindly agreed to come on this podcast, and there was a wee bit of a delay for a number of reasons. One, I didn't have anywhere to record it. We're recording it on garden furniture. Well, we're recording it on microphones, but the microphones are placed on garden furniture.
Will we give it a...
Yeah, so we need to avoid tapping the metal table in my living room. But also the questionnaire that I sent out was in my old Twitter DMs, and then my Twitter account was banned, and I lost...
We're talking about this.
I won't go into it. Okay. My Twitter account was suspended and I lost all of it, so it all kind of got pushed back, and then, I just got a bit lazy. But then Christmas happened, and I thought, actually... Because I had a different episode I want to give you, but it was close to a Christmas episode, so I was like, I'll give her a Christmas episode, and we can do it at Christmas, and it can be a Christmas special.
And I'm so glad you did.
Yes! Blimey. Sorry, Christmas Eve on a rooftop, saw a chimney, my whole brain just went, what the hell? Don't worry, Fat Fella will be doing the rounds later. I'm just scoping out the general chimneyness. Yes! Nice size, good traction. Big tick. Fat Fella. Father Christmas. Santa Claus. Or, as I've always known him, Jeff.
His
be such a person as Father Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Me and Father Christmas, Frank Sinatra's hunting lodge, 1952. See him at the back with the blonde, Albert Einstein, the three of us together. Watch out.
Tell us about yourself, Laura.
Really? Okay. So I'm brunette. I don't know how much you want to hear about me.
This is not a dating app.
Oh, awkward. Oh well. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I'll maybe I can fill you in here. Maybe I can tell you about yourself. So Laura is on Twitter at dohoodle, all one word.
All one word. All lower caps.
And Laura and I have known each other for a few years. Laura works for Lost Map Records.
That is correct.
But we met at the Glasgow Film Festival.
Yes, we've worked together in many places.
Yes, we have
for
actually.
many years.
Laura's given me a lot of work over the years.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
But you've probably seen, me and Richie. I introduced him to Kid Canaveral, so.
Oh yeah.
So you'll probably have seen all of his videos for the band.
Every music video, I think. No, not every music video
Tough
I've
Love?
done. Yeah, I did a Tough Love
Yeah.
video. I've done some music videos for those guys, and that's all thanks to Laura.
You're welcome. Some of my favourite music videos ever,
Oh,
actually.
wow,
The
thank you.
Seahorse one with Ryan and Dee is still one of my faves.
Good, I'm glad. Thank you. Um,
I'm sad they didn't dress up like that on their wedding day, but whatever.
And so you've been pulled into the whole I hate Doctor Who thing. I mean, you've never been, like, the funny thing is the first two guests that I've had, I've taken full-on pelters about Doctor Who from the two of them.
Aye.
And Gav has been quite openly hated Doctor Who. You're more just of you don't really watch it.
I'm
You've watched some of
indifferent.
it. I've had a couple of conversations where you're like, I watched it, and you just went, I wasn't that into it.
Didn't get it. Don't really know the backstory.
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
There's
Especially, you were watching 12th Doctor stuff, and I think you watched...
Who's that? Capaldi.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Capaldi.
Like, you're gonna have to.
I know.
You have to try.
There's a weird thing going on, because obviously I'm talking to you, but I'm obviously talking to an audience that knows all of this stuff.
Yeah. Just remember
there's
you're
a-
talking to me
Yeah,
as well, though.
I know.
Who doesn't? So, just dumb it down.
I will.
Make it
I'll
safe
dumb
for
it.
safe for newbies.
Peter Capaldi.
I know what this is. I know what's happening. And I know what's at stake.
I don't think you do, Doctor. But I promise before this Christmas day is done, you will be glad of my help.
Happy Easter.
Oh, cool exit line, though. Be sure to save some room for a tangerine, Doctor.
Nobody likes the tangerines.
The good thing about giving you a Christmas episode as well is that they tend to be mostly quite standalone, because there's a lot of people watching it on Christmas Day that don't normally watch it. Usually people like my brother who are stuck with my family going, ugh. And then halfway through the episode he leaves.
So the first half is for the newbies, and then the second
half is when they throw in all the original series
Like,
references.
wait a minute, have they gone now? Cool. About 45 minutes in, maybe about 3 weird aliens.
Yeah. So anyway, so I gave you a questionnaire, as I do with everyone. Although, I mean,
to be fair, I filled this out a long time ago,
and then you had to fill it in again
my
last
answers
night.
were really good the last time.
I know.
And I felt like I couldn't replicate it. So
The worst thing is, as well, is when you originally filled out this questionnaire, they hadn't announced Jodie Whittaker.
Yes, that is true.
Um,
Do you remember though? I did say something about Tilda Swinton.
you did. Tilda Swinton is one of those names that was always kicking about as well.
Oh, was it?
No, but
Oh.
that just shows you that it was a good rumor.
Meant
I
to
suppose.
be.
I mean, it's funny when they do like speculation about new doctors, and they're always and these names start coming up, and you're just like, you need to remember that this is a BBC program. You know, when people start throwing, it's just like, I can't honestly. Well, Tilda Swinton, for example. Imagine Tilda Swinton on a BBC TV
Oh, I think she'd do it.
wage for a year.
Oh, I think she'd slum it. It's not that expensive in Nairn. She lives up in Nairn, so
Does she?
yeah.
That actually, there was a story recently about Alan Cumming. He was going to be the 9th Doctor.
Shut up.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. And
That would have been good.
He was apparently it was really, really close. This was for when it launched in 2005. And then he was like, in the interview I read, he was like, then I read I had to live in Cardiff for a month. No, for a year, sorry, not a month. I had to live in Cardiff for a year. And he was like, no.
Cardiff seems like a good place. I've been for a night out. Well, I went to see Madonna there.
I've never... Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never been to Cardiff.
Millennium Stadium. Spent some time dancing in the gay bars there. There's
Nice.
one with a light up floor. Don't know the name of it. It was amazing. If anyone knows,
maybe someone-
write in.
Yeah. I think a lot of Doctor Who fans have been to Cardiff now. I missed the whole Doctor Who experience down there. There was like a whole thing down there and it's been closed now.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it okay? So, no, I was talking about this off the record
Right.
about loving Coronation Street.
Oh, yeah.
And how I forgot to mention and all the things I love, but I'm talking about it now just so I can get it in.
Okay.
And they had the touring studios from that for a while. So, do you think they'll do a touring studio of Doctor Who and like the set?
I don't... The problem with Doctor Who is that you're talking about new sets every episode. The only static set is the TARDIS. But yeah, no, and I know. Well, I did go... There was like a Doctor Who exhibition in Glasgow years ago. And there's a photo of me somewhere looking quite pleased with myself standing on the 10th Doctor's TARDIS.
10th Doctor?
Behind David Tennant.
There we go. Thank you.
Behind like a railing.
Have they all got
obviously.
different TARDISes? Tardai?
The set tends to change every so. That's part of like there's all these things that make new Doctor Who exciting. It's always like, you know, they've changed the TARDIS, they've changed the theme tune, they've got a new costume.
I'm quite excited about that.
All
then.
that sort of stuff happens.
Because
obviously, Jodie Whittaker's going to have a new TARDIS.
I want to see her TARDIS. I want to see. I bet it's be like nice Farrell ball, like nice decor. You know, like I think hopefully she'll really have thought about it. Maybe that's pretty sexist, isn't it? But you know.
Well, at least you're not saying it's going to be pink.
No. I think it'll just be dead classy, and I think it'll just be like there'll be good storage solutions.
Right.
But I don't know, like, what's the personality?
Funnily enough, there's good storage in
all of them.
Capaldi's TARDIS.
Oh, okay.
It's got bookshelves and all sorts of stuff going on.
Do you know what? I've never spent that time to compare it. So is there a messy Doctor? Who's the messiest Doctor?
Messy. I'd say the short time we spent with the 8th Doctor, his TARDIS was pretty messy.
8th?
Paul McGann.
Right.
Sorry.
You've got, like... How many times?
This is good. Messiest Doctor. I mean, the first Doctor, William Hartnell, his TARDIS had like lots of just shit lying about it. So I guess that was
shit.
Sorry, not shit, but you know,
Stuff.
he had like lots of random weird furniture.
Okay, not feces.
No.
Okay, not the TARDIS.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He had sort of lots of random furniture. That's kind of messy, I suppose.
Okay.
I quite like the minimalist.
What's his name? Christopher Eccleston? Is it?
Well, Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant is the same TARDIS, but it's that kind of corally, organic looking one.
Okay.
You'll have seen it.
You'll have to send me pictures after this.
And then like
yes, I remember.
Matt Smith has a TARDIS for a while that's sort of quite wacky.
Oh, I bet he's dead hipster. I bet he looks like a bar on Leith Walk or something.
Matt Smith himself is quite a hipster, but I don't think his Doctor's more twee than hipster.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of that's kind of why his Doctor really took off in America, because it was very British and very kind of, yeah, all that. And there was a lot of sort of steampunky stuff going on as well.
I never really watched any. What was he, the 10th Doctor? Who was he?
11th
Doctor. Never really watched any of his stuff.
Oh,
I think I might have been in Canada at that point, actually.
Okay.
And they would have only had like probably Tennant stuff.
See, that's sort of what like. Well, we'll see how it goes when we get into it. But like, there's a part in this like I should have given you a Matt Smith one.
It's okay. I can come back after I hate this one. After you've not changed my mind.
Yeah. So yeah, the TARDIS is all changed. There's a bit in the anniversary episode, the kind of anniversary film that was on a couple of years ago with John Hurt, that suggested that it was like a desktop. Because something shorts in the inside of the TARDIS changes, so it's like a desktop theme.
Oh.
That's what they called it, the desktop theme.
Cool.
So like the control room would change.
Man.
I know. Because the TARDIS is like it's like a sort of big almost like a small universe inside it, so the rooms can move around and stuff.
Right.
I think, well, this never's been said explicitly, but there's a sort of suggestion.
Yeah. I just thought it was a room.
But it's big and sprawling, and they never really go into the TARDIS. They kind of, every time you see a different bit of the TARDIS, it's like in Star Trek when they show you about the Enterprise you've never seen before. It's dead exciting.
Yeah.
They did like
the gym. Whenever they go to the gym. What?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, TARDIS. I don't even know how we got into the TARDIS. Oh, we're talking about doctors and their
Yeah, and
TARDISes.
how it changes. Yeah, I'm a relative newbie. I'm not a hater.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Pete. Phil.
Pete?
Wait a minute, Phil. Who
Phil.
was it? Phil. I'm not a Phil.
Phil and Gav.
I'm not a Phil. I'm not a Phil and Gav.
No, just a sort of I don't really engage sort of level. That's fine. Okay, let's get to your questionnaire because that's what I was going ages ago.
Look at you beaming away like your Father Christmas.
Who says I'm not? Read Bicycle when you were 12.
What?
So I asked you your top 5 films.
Okay. You might have to read them.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. You said Jurassic Park, Madonna, Truth or Dare. You never said that last time.
Oh.
Ghostbusters 2?
Yeah. Underrated.
Over 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't like the hate it gets. I mean, obviously Ghostbusters.
Listen, I love Ghostbusters 2.
But I didn't realise that everyone hated it until the recent Ghostbusters came out and it got so much slagging. I was like, do you know what? I'm going to say it. Favourite of all the Ghostbusters? Ghostbusters 2.
Okay. Stories We Tell.
Sarah Pulley.
When Harry Met Sally. Special Christmas bonus answer, The Snowman.
Yeah.
We have a big cry every Christmas watching
Yeah,
that.
well, it was on Sunday, actually.
Oh, was it?
And I don't know, usually it's on Christmas Eve.
Apparently I'm going to see like a live stage version of it.
Shut up. You're going to sob.
Up in Dundee.
Really?
Yeah.
Very envious. That'll be good.
Okay, so TV, Buffy, Casualty, The Good Wife, The Wire, and Star Trek.
Yes.
Any particular Star Trek? TNG?
I would say TNG, but I've been enjoying the new one.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm still on a cliffhanger right now, waiting for the series gap to end. What do you call it? Why do America do that?
Mid-season break.
Yeah.
I know.
Stop it.
Well, we'll still be on it when this episode goes out, hopefully. Well, I need to put it out before Christmas.
Jingle bells.
So I asked you, is there a Doctor you like? So you've been watching, I was going to say you've been watching Casualty, but you've not been watching Hobby City. With Paul McGann.
But we have
I saw the trailer with Paul McGann. I was like, I'm going to watch that.
Yes, we have had a little conversation about that, about the McGann brothers, haven't we?
What was that about?
Because Doctor, right, so you're
you
McGann,
were
Paul
about the best
McGann,
McGann brother.
the best Doctor McGann. Because I didn't put it in here, but I didn't put it in my TV, but I also love Call the Midwife.
Oh, yeah.
And Stephen McGann, who's a science communicator and an actor. IRL.
Okay.
Plays Dr. Turner, who is a doctor saving everyone from the slums of London in 1950s slummy London.
Well, you know.
Versus Paul McGann. What did he do? Just run
people,
about with a messy TARDIS.
All of those people in post-war London would be dead. All of them would be dead if it wasn't for Doctor Who.
Well, we'll agree to disagree.
Doctor. Okay, fine. Okay, so I asked you if there was a Doctor that you did like, and you says, I don't know much about the Doctors, but Capaldi is cool, and I like Paul McGann as I and Withnail and I. Well, that reminds me, I really like Call the Midwife featuring Stephen McGann. Special bonus TV answer. Fair enough.
I'm not very good at lists.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Can't restrict myself.
I asked you mad scientists or aliens. I don't really know why I asked this question, but it's kind of what it's usually one or the other. I think I prefer aliens whenever I sit down to watch a cheap Netflix horror. Often, I am much more drawn to the supernatural horrors rather than the slashers. I like a bit of mystery and intrigue rather than mindless destruction. The aliens/ghosts can sometimes offer a bit of that too, but I think I want something different than a boring old human. Maybe a mad alien scientist, but humans are the worst. Okay. Cool.
I feel like that sums it up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, technically everyone in this are aliens, but they're human aliens.
I know. Well,
aliens like they're just look like humans. There's some mad aliens in it. Okay, so I asked you if you were. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, I mean, it's a very simple question. So
It is.
it's difficult to know where to come from.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. You answered it well. I asked you if you were a doctor, what would your costume be? And you said, I think it'd be practical. I'd have a lot of pockets and some flat shoes. There's a funny... They've suggested that the doctor's pockets are bigger on the inside.
Like...
Because he has loads of... He usually pulls mad stuff out on like fucking Mary Poppins or something.
I like that idea. Because I mean, I love a rucksack, but I don't want to... If I'm like flying about the universe, I just want... I want...
You'd lose it. I could see the doctor having a rucksack, but... no, maybe I couldn't actually. A rucksack would be the sort of thing Matt Smith would have. It'd be a child's rucksack.
Aww.
I think it'd be practical. I'd have a lot of pockets and some flat shoes. This is not something that men think about a lot, but I'm a short woman. If I'm on my feet all day and having to kick down diamond walls, then I'd probably want some docks that I'd broken in over several centuries. I'd also not want to take a bag with me. Fair enough. Docks. I think Capaldi wears docks.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, there we go. I'm obviously a bigger fan than I thought I was.
Yeah, bigger fan than me.
I'm very intuitive. And yeah, I think because we originally discussed this before the Jodie Whittaker announcement.
So yeah, you've said here we first started talking about this, me coming on the podcast several months back, even before they announced the new Doctor. Her outfit is pretty bang on what I would wear. I have lots of pairs of trousers that are arguably too short and kind of hipster, which I love anyway.
I'm wearing a pair today.
Good socks.
Yeah.
Those are really good socks.
Yeah, thank you. Floral.
Yeah. Okay, so way back when you initially answered these questions, I thought you can deal with the production values of modern British TV, obviously, especially kind of soaps which are made quite quickly. But also Buffy is the one I zoned in on. I would say that David Tennant's era takes so much from Buffy. I think Russell T Davies was obsessed with Buffy.
I mean, who wasn't?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot of, you can see it all the way through. I mean, I think that's kind of almost how when he created the template, or how, when the show came back, and when it came back it was completely different from what it was, but it was still recognisably Doctor Who, but it had this sort of American kick up the arse, and it was mostly, I would say, arguably taken from Buffy.
Did you mean the sort of like the heart of it sort of thing,
yeah.
the angel relationship or something, where you have the kicky fighty episodes, but you also have the hearty, I'm sad I miss someone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who was it he met? Billie Piper?
Yes.
Who wouldn't miss her?
Exactly. Hold on, I'm going to another tea.
I'll have some Stalin.
Please have some Stalin.
Oh,
It's good, isn't it? I mean, I like Stalin, but these Stalin slices.
Why do we only have these once a year?
I don't know.
Are you sponsored by Mr. Kipling?
Full disclosure, no sponsorship from Mr. Kipling.
We're just
Eating on a podcast seems quite rude, actually.
Crumbs in our mouth.
This is going to mean nothing to you, but originally the episode I chose was Silence in the Library. It was a two-parter. Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead, it's called. So anyone listening can enjoy that, I suppose. We could have been talking about that, but instead it's Christmas, so we're going to talk about this instead. So to give you a bit of context from when this episode was on, I like talking about modern Doctor Who because I've lived it. That sounds weird. I was there when it was like I've watched them all as they came on. Like something that you lose retrospectively when you go back in television retrospectively is hype. There was so much hype at the time. Doctor Who had become really big, and the Christmas special had become a proper television tradition at this point.
Yeah. And
it was like David Tennant's Doctor was very popular. It was just massive. It was massive. And
what age were you when it came out? Was it like 10 years ago?
12 years ago.
I thought it was 2007. Did it not
2005. Oh no, sorry. This episode was 2007. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah.
Yeah, I did my research.
Sorry.
So
yeah,
10
so I
years
would have
ago.
been 24. I know. I sound like I was a child when it. No, it's not. That's the funny thing about it being back for so long. Actually, it's just a thing that's here, but I forget that it's been on for so long. And obviously there'll be like anyone that started watching it when they're 10 are now in their 20s. So there's people that have grown up watching it. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. So yeah, it was a big deal, and obviously they nabbed Kylie.
Yes.
For the companion role, and
oh wow.
And like I remember the advertising. It was quite aggressively advertised. There was but I remember being quite excited that there was a cinema trailer for it. So you went to the cinema and they'd be showing trailers. There was this one trailer for the Christmas special that was being shown before the films.
I really want to see the trailer for it and see if it makes it look good.
It was like a very short.
Oh.
But yeah, that for me was like a whole like, oh my god, it's in the cinema.
Whoa. Because they do that now though, don't they? Don't they show Doctor Who's in the cinema?
Oh, that's happened. They had
was it the?
They had the anniversary one, like that happened. But then they did. They do it more in America than they do here actually, which is annoying. But they did Peter Capaldi's first episode in the cinema as well, which I went to see, which was good. So yeah, it was a big deal, and I was reading this morning that it was the second most watched program in 2007.
What was the first?
EastEnders.
Oh,
the episode
come
of
on.
EastEnders that came on after it.
Oh, because maybe people were just too in awe that they were just thinking, oh, I can't possibly turn...
It's understandable. Well, I mean, that was kind of back at the point as well, just before ratings kind of made sense, before everybody stopped watching television live. So yeah, it was a big deal. It was a big deal when it was on. But I think in some ways it's quite good for you to watch it without any of the hype as well, because there's a thing that happens, especially for someone like me, like every episode of Doctor Who, it's like my anticipation is so high, and I think this happens to a lot of people, that you can get a little bit disappointed. So most episodes of Doctor Who, when I reappraise them a few years later, I'm like, actually that was really good.
I think I kind of see that because, well, I'm not ashamed to say, but I have got a few friends who are Who fans.
Okay. Not ashamed.
I'm not ashamed to say. And every year, or, you know, sometimes I'll see Facebook threads of people getting in and involved and chatting and blah, 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 and getting on with, oh, I'm really disappointed by you know, whatever. And
fan reactions are...
And I've watched it. I've been like, that was perfectly fine. That was a totally okay thing that I just watched.
I know. I think some people expect it because Doctor Who is always the way they produce it, the way they make it. They're almost trying to make it as broad and as big as possible. Like it's almost like they're trying to make a film every episode, and obviously it falls short due to budget or the fact that it was only on for 42 minutes, all that sort of stuff. And then people get wound up for the weirdest reasons. But I mean, I remember watching this one initially and I was a bit like, that was a bit shite. I didn't think Kylie was very good in it, and you know, it was all this sort of I know. But then like I watched that a few years later, and it's become like one of my favourite Christmas ones.
Okay. Mark
from On the Timelash, who would normally get to do a little thing here, he hates it, so we'll probably he'll be raging at this episode.
No, I want to hear him talk about it then.
Well, unfortunately, I've not got time to. Over to Mark. He's not coming.
Oh shit.
It's funny how these things work, because everyone's always, and it's funny because there's such a massive focus on who's writing it at the time. They get a lot of attention. So I remember when Russell T Davies was writing it, it was always like people would be like, oh, that's typical Russell T Davies, or you know, that's so, you know, they would always complain about certain things that he did or certain tropes that he rolled out, or you know, just the way he did it. And then obviously when he went away and Stephen Moffat took over, Stephen Moffat seemed to get it more intensely, and everyone missed Russell T Davies. Right. So I'm looking forward to this all happening when the new guy takes over.
Who's the new person?
Chris Chibnall. He wrote Broadchurch.
Oh.
So yeah. So it'll be interesting to see.
I never watched that either.
I never watched it either. No, I didn't. I'm totally going to go and watch it now.
I've heard it's good.
The Doctor Who connection. Yeah, David Tennant's in it.
Yeah. And always whenever I saw adverts for it, I'd see Olivia Colman in it, and I'd be Peep Show's gone a bit dark. That was always my...
kind of the point where Olivia Colman was in everything. You like every independent British film you watched had Olivia Colman in it, and every television program you watched had Olivia Colman. Like if they needed an older woman, it would be Olivia Colman.
Why not? She's great.
She is. No, don't get me wrong. She's amazing. But there was a point where I was like, oh my God, it's
Bring
Olivia
back Rebecca
Colman
Front. Where's Rebecca Front? Where's she?
See, I don't want to sound like I'm knocking Olivia Colman because she's very, very good.
Well, it does sound like you are.
I know. I was a bit. Do you know where this is coming from? Actually, there was a sort of Olivia Colman saturation happening, and then everyone was like, Olivia Colman should be the next Doctor, and I was like, fuck off.
Is it sort of like the Cumberbatch effect, where Cumberbatch was in Sherlock, and everyone was like, woo, Sherlock, amazing, and then he was in literally every superhero film ever. And you're just like, piss off, Cumberbatch.
He was offered the role of the Doctor.
Piss off, Cumberbatch.
he was. I think it was pre-Sherlock, but he was offered the role of the 11th Doctor, and he was like, I think I read an interview about him. He says, I didn't want to see my face in the lunchbox. It's like, well, very good, Doctor Strange. How you feeling about that now?
Can.
Don't.
That's a different podcast.
That's a whole other big angry podcast. So anyway, so I decided to stick with the Tennant connection, and out of his Christmas episodes, I thought I'll give you the one with Kylie in it.
I really liked his little tux outfit when he was wearing a tux in Converse. I really liked that, and I thought Richie's really thought about this and thought about the things that I would like. And I know he wears a suit in Converse because all of my scruffy male pals and some female pals actually make jokes about how where they wear a suit they just want to wear Converse with, like David Tennant, and so I know that. But when I seen him in a tux, I thought he's taking it a step further. And he looked, I'm gonna say it, banging.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
It was
He
good.
wears the tux a couple of times. I think there's a line in the Christmas episode about how it brings bad luck every time he wears it.
I did not get that.
Obviously every time in every episode of Doctor Who something bad's happening. So every time he wears a tux.
Do you know what? Are there any episodes where he just goes out and has a nice time?
Well, there's always suggestions. There's always times it's like the beginning or the end of an episode where it's like, here's a bit, they've just come back from having a nice time somewhere, and now something's happening.
Oh, I see.
So it's always like, it's never the episodes are never continuous. There's the bits in the middle.
Do you ever wish you could see one of those episodes of like?
Well, they're just having a good time.
Yeah, like if he was properly on a cruise ship, just having a swim, going, and you get to learn more about him. Be like, learn more about Gallifrey and stuff, and be like, oh, the sky in Gallifrey is this color, or whatever, and be like, wonderful sunsets. Maybe he could have like a flashback of a lost love or something. I don't know, just something nice. Do you not wish you could have something like that?
You see it in bits. You see little bits.
Maybe the Broadchurchy guy will bring something along like
there was
that.
one of the Christmas episodes where it suggested that at a party he accidentally got married to Marilyn Monroe.
I want to see that.
And they have to, there's all that sort of stuff.
Is that in it? Or is it just a suggestion?
Well, they're at the party.
Right.
But, it's like a minute on screen, but there is lots of nice stuff. There's lots of stuff of them having a nice time. That does happen. But usually it's at a certain point in the episode where it's like there's no Jeopardy happening.
I mean, I just think it would be a nice change.
It's funny actually because I was watching. This is completely off topic, but I started watching Master of None, and then I got to the episode where he goes on a weekend away with his girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember. He goes on holiday with her.
Yeah.
And the entire episode was just them having a nice time.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, I don't care.
It's just
this
nice.
isn't fun. People having a nice time isn't funny.
What? Oh, I really liked that episode.
I hated it. I was just like, I'm not watching this anymore. I'm not. I'm not here for people having I want.
Because of the Jeopardy and all the other.
No,
Master
look.
of
I'm
Nuns?
just saying that like. I don't mind people having a nice time and things. It does. You're right. There is a niceness to it. You're like, oh, that's pleasant. But if I don't know what. I was a bit like, I want something funny to happen. They could have had a nice time and something funny happened to them. I'm not saying I'm watching like Only Fools and Horses. I realise that, but at the same time, I was just like, when they're writing the script, they're just like, and then they go away on holiday and they just get on and it's really nice. And then they come home. There's something about a jar of
sauce.
Yeah,
there's the the subtext there where they're not having a good time and it's a bit uncomfortable and it's a bit weird, and then you think it's a doomed relationship from the start because there's all this stuff. There's all this stuff that you missed.
You got all that.
Yeah.
I never got that. I was just lying in bed on a Sunday morning going,
that's the perfect time to watch them having a nice time then.
So it's like if you watch a science fiction show And they're all just... Imagine watching it... Actually, I think I'd love
Well,
that. I was going to say, if you're
what if
watching an episode of TNG, you're
What?
watching Star Trek, and it's just an episode where they're just on their shifts. Somebody...
That would be amazing.
It probably would, you're right. Actually, no, you're right, actually. There's a couple of... Like, the episode Data's Day, where it's just about Data going about... That's probably the best episode.
Or what about, like, you know,
Okay.
and thinking about maybe Buffy, I know it's obviously a lot happens in it, but the body episode, one of
That's... Something very big has happened.
I know, but it's not supernatural.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's not like, you know, it's just like it's a very, well, not normal thing, but it's a very, like, human thing that happens in it. And it's brilliant. In a way, it's just everyone's normal reactions. I don't believe that she has to kill any vampires in it, but I could be wrong.
There's one vampire at the end.
Oh, yeah.
On the table.
Apart from that, though.
But it's funny, I bet there's someone listening to this right now screaming an example of what you're talking about. Why is he not saying this? There's an episode actually where the Doctor has to spend a few months with Rory and Ape, Karen Gillan's character, and he gets really bored. But of course, there's like a weird alien invasion happening in the background as well. But anyway,
Wait a minute, what happened to her? Did she lose her memory or something? No.
what happened to her character?
Yeah.
It's complicated.
Okay, don't tell me. It's fine.
But it's got something to do with the Weeping Angels. Do you know about them?
Is that the ones that follow you about when you're not looking? Like Santa? So I was just trying to bring it back to Christmas.
They're living statues,
Yeah.
but they can only move when nobody's looking at them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
See
it's
you when
like
you're sleeping.
so they're like, if you blink,
Yeah.
they move and they
Aye. Because there's, when you know, a little bit of local chat here, because we
Okay.
live in the same neighbourhood. Pokemon Go, in the Pilrig graveyard up the road, there's a Pokestop, but it's got a weeping angel on it, and it's like,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's quite weird.
There's a Pokemon reference in the last. Is it last? Yeah, last year's Christmas special.
Oh, is there?
Like a Pokemon Go reference. There's like a line about how he managed to clear out an office by filling the bottom floor with Pokemon, suggesting that he can use a sonic screwdriver to.
Amazing! Oh my god!
So now you're excited.
Yeah, I love that.
So anyway, Voyage of the Damned. I chose Voyage of the Damned because I thought, one, it's a nice standalone episode. Two, it's quite big. It feels like a good Christmas episode. It feels like something you should watch at Christmas.
It's quite ornate, you know. Titanic. It's quite a lot of, needless flamboyance there, just like Christmas.
What the thing I quite like is that in your notes you've watched it and you had no idea what it was about. In the finale of the previous series, the Titanic crashes into the TARDIS. You see that it's the Titanic, but you don't know it's a spaceship.
Yeah.
But then obviously they showed other trailers and it's like, oh, it's a spaceship. And so I find it interesting you can watch the episode and have the reveal and it means something.
Yeah.
So that's what you were saying. You were like, you thought. So you were saying in your notes there that you wrote. You thought.
Oh, well, let me look at my notes out.
Yeah,
Hang
sure.
on. I'm going to see it. So I watched it and I made some notes as I went along. And oh my god, it's an hour and 12 minutes long. Was my first note.
Listen, the two people that have been on this podcast before have both had. No, one had a 90-minute episode, and the other one had a 6-parter.
So I got a
So you-
6-parter.
It wasn't 6:45. It was like 6 22-minute episodes. Listen, that's just what it is.
No wonder you get pelters, mate. Okay, my second note was, oh shit, he was the iceberg.
So you thought it was going to be. You thought the TARDIS was maybe the iceberg, and that he was going to sink.
I thought he was a
that'd have been
murderous
disastrous.
cretin. Because he just seemed to go, oops, and then reverse out, and I thought, mate, save them. Get your little screwdriver out. You know what happened. You're a Time Lord. You know the history and stuff.
Well, he does. He jumps on board to see what's going on.
Yeah, in a
Parks
tux, ready for a party. Like, just like, hey, I'm pretty sure Kylie's on board. Let's get a winch. Not a fan.
I know, that's like new Doctor Who, the thing they always have. I'm pretty sure, like sometimes he kisses the companion, I'm pretty sure, for some daft reason other than people fancy each other. I'm pretty sure they always do it so they can bang it in the trailer.
Right, well, okay. But I mean, okay, so
But
do
you
we have
definitely
to
fancied
talk about
Kylie.
this in like a chronological way? Can I like jump to the end and I do a spoiler or whatever?
Sure.
Because everyone's seen it, right?
Yeah.
A bit annoyed where he was like, met Kylie, obviously Kylie's a babe, and then immediately was like, oh, you can come into my TARDIS and we'll travel the universe together. And then at the very end, what's his name? Not as attractive, the guy.
Oh, Clive Swift.
And then he was like, oh mate, I haven't got enough space in here for you. I was like, what a creep. What an actual creep.
No, you couldn't take...
How not? You tell me.
Listen, he has a very specific set of criteria.
Which
and
is...
you're right, they do tend to be young, hot women.
Yeah. It's kind of gross. I feel sorry. He was like, oh, I've got no money. Oh, I've got no job. Oh,
He
I've
made
got
him
no
a bloody
family."
millionaire.
He didn't. He was already a millionaire.
Did you not...
He'd already downloaded like £1 million.
Oh, yeah, no, of course, you're right. Sorry, I thought you used this... In my head, he used his sonic screwdriver to
No,
the whole time.
because he's selfish and all he wants to do is crash ships and make out with hot women.
Mate, if it was you, would you take Clive Swift with you?
Well, no, because somebody tweeted that he's not nice, so...
Oh, yeah? Well, maybe not. Okay, Mr. Copper.
Oh, but... I mean, I did have my feelings about
Would
Mr.
you?
Copper.
If it Kylie or
What?
Mr. Copper,
Excuse me?
who would you take?
Excuse me. Obviously Kylie. But that's because it's Kylie.
But she was also very nice.
She was, but I mean, he
No,
was,
look, I know,
he was
I'm not-
fine.
I'm
And
not
I actually,
I'm not gonna argue this
I
because
really liked his
I don't have a leg to stand on.
take on Earth politics and stuff as well. It would be great. I'd love to. When I lived in Canada, I used to tell people fake things all the time about Scotland, and I would probably just encourage him. I'd be like, you know, like, when he had all this fake knowledge about Earth and like what Christmas, like Boxing Day, everyone fights and stuff, and I'd be like, yes, and I would really encourage it and tell him lots of lies.
That's funny, when I was in Canada in October, and the amount of people that when you tell them you're from Scotland, they think you're Irish.
You're welcome.
I was like,
It was me planting
I was
some
like,
seeds.
oh, we're over from Scotland. We live in Edinburgh. He's like, have you been at that Irish theme bar? Should I have?
Yeah. There might be people that think that Belfast is in Glasgow. It's fine.
Let the Christmas inferno commence.
I'm going to start talking about it chronologically. So
Okay.
you've got he's landed on the
Okay.
Titanic.
He's
He's
on-
jumped on.
uh-huh.
He's having a party. This is him having a nice time.
He was having a nice time, but not for long. It's
There's
short-lived.
obviously something sinister going
Yeah,
on.
obviously. Immediately, straight away, those creepy robots. Straight away.
They were well.
They were very creepy. Even before anything sinister happened.
The hosts, they look like angels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I put my next note is Kylie. This is all in capital letters as well. And then creepy fucking robots. So
I mean,
yeah, it was.
Robots tend to be. No, I mean, they're probably creepy because you're like, as soon as you see robots, especially in Doctor Who, you're like, you're going to turn evil. In science fiction, you're just like, especially robots that are servants, you're going to turn evil.
Yeah. I suppose, but they were quite creepy.
Yeah, they were. But I mean, that's all on purpose, isn't it? I think it's the thing I always love about that era of Doctor Who as well, is it's always like, it's so over the top and it's so. I mean, it's the same reason a lot of people hate it. Like, a lot of people love it for the same reasons a lot of people hate it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so sort of cartoonish and over the top and melodramatic, and some of it's just obvious, but then it sometimes does nice little twists on it. But you know, obviously that one is kind of derivative of a lot of disaster films, except it's on a big spaceship called the Titanic. Interesting trivia for you here.
Yes.
This episode was originally called Starship Titanic until Russell T Davies discovered that Douglas Adams had written a video game called Starship Titanic.
No way.
And I remember watching it thinking it was a reference to Starship Titanic.
Because you knew
because
that.
there's so much Douglas Adams Doctor Who crossover.
Oh, okay.
But obviously Russell T Davies just didn't know that.
I thought it felt a bit like, I'm not sure which one. Alien 3? Alien 4 maybe?
Really?
Yeah.
What, Alien Resurrection?
What's the one where she... Is it Alien 3 where she's in the prison? Did she
Oh, God,
kill herself
Alien-
in the lava or whatever?
You mean just the shot of her falling into the lava?
There's many things
I was
going
going to say, That shot, that effect of someone falling must have been... Is it like 4 or 5 times?
I'm sure there's other things, because I was thinking about it before it and I was like, oh,
This
come on.
This is incredible.
Oh yeah, there's a bit of a Kylie get away from her, you bitch moment. So it's a bit Aliens. Now when she's in the big robot at the end.
Of course she's in, except it's a forklift.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I thought it was.
Wow.
A little bit. Like,
I never even... No, you're right as well. But I love the idea of Doctor Who reminding you of Alien 3.
Aliens and Alien 3.
Aliens and Alien 3.
That's
sorry.
why I was just a bit... It's just like they just amalgamated the two in the ending.
Yeah, okay.
Get away from her, you bitch.
Here, what is Kylie's accent in it? I can't remember.
Is she not just Aussie?
Does she do Aussie in it?
I'm pretty sure she's just Aussie.
Okay.
Because their name's... Is it Perth? I thought it was Perth. Perth.
Astrid Perth.
I'm not like, wow, these writers are really phoning it in.
What's your name? Sydney Perth. Oh man, I love the there was so much speculation. Because there always is with big Doctor Who episodes, especially at that time when it was just massive hype before everything used to just get announced or leaked. In fact, I'm pretty sure the BBC marketing department just tells you everything now. But anyway, Astrid, a lot of people made a point of the fact that Astrid is an anagram of TARDIS.
No way.
But that was just a coincidence.
Is that because he's in love with his TARDIS?
Yeah. But no, it's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. There's an episode called The Doctor's Wife, which is about the TARDIS.
Oh.
Basically the essence of the TARDIS ends up inside a woman.
Oh.
Oh my god, the look in your face. It's yeah, okay. So the ship gets it draws in, magnetizes,
Yeah.
which somehow attracts asteroids or meteors which aren't made of metal.
I really like the stickler for rules who was on the bridge. What's his
Russell
name?
Tovey.
Is that, yeah.
Midshipman Frame.
Yeah, bless him.
Yeah, he was good.
He's
He
in
was
loads
really
of
good.
stuff, isn't he?
Yeah. Russell T Davies really loved him as well. I'm going to refer to this book. I do it a lot when I do this podcast, but there's a book called A Writer's Tale, which is Russell T Davies' email correspondence all the way through writing a full series of Doctor Who. And it's really, really interesting. It's just a really interesting look at the writing process, but it's also... He talks about a lot of stuff as he's doing it, but he really, really liked Russell Tovey. So in the David Tennant's last episode, they bring his character back for a cameo.
Oh, maybe I'll watch that.
Fucking David Tennant's last episode was a Christmas episode, and I couldn't have showed you that because it's just so heart-wrenching. It's like...
You can talk about it, is what you're trying to say.
So yeah, anyway, so we've got Russell Tovey, we've got Jeffrey Palmer as the captain, and
there's a lot of like, oh, I know him. It's a good Christmas thing, isn't it? Oh, what's his name? What's he from? You can imagine everyone on the couch just being like...
It's the level of actor where you're like, that's him, it's your boy for
it's time.
Tomorrow Never
the bucket.
Dies.
Oh, what's his name? Aye.
Oh, your man for Hyacinth Bucket.
Aye. What's his chops? And him from Evil Tony from Corrie.
Didn't know he was in Corrie.
He was in Corrie. Yeah.
Oh god. Aye, so how were you feeling like at the point when all the point when it kicked off?
I felt angry.
Were you angry?
No, I felt I was full of anticipation and Christmas joy. I thought, how what a lovely time they're having, is what I said to myself.
I did love well, before all that happened, I love when they go down to Earth. They have the little visit down to Earth.
I like when they go down,
and I love like Kylie's sort of
oh, it's great.
She's so amazed at just a shit Cardiff High Street, which is meant to be London.
Yeah.
And that's when they introduce Bernard Cribbins' character as well.
Wait, which one would be?
He was the guy that works in the...
Oh yeah, in the stall. I think it was very unrealistic that the Queen would stay there during a disaster. She'd be the first
I know.
out.
It's these sort of... And I actually, that was another thing I thought of as I was watching it. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to deal with talking about the Queen. And like these sort of positive representations of the Queen, which... My favourite thing about actually when the Queen was evacuating... It's like, where was Prince Philip?
Oh, yeah, he's already liked it.
But
then Well, I guess they weren't to know that, like, not only was London going to get obliterated or whatever, but I guess they didn't know the whole planet was, right? So, I mean, if he just legged it up to Balmoral or whatever, like, I mean, selfish, yes, but he would have died anyway. So we could all live happily in that knowledge that, you know, even though he'd tried to leave, that he would have succumbed to the same fate as the rest of the planet.
Well, actually, it turns out the planet wouldn't have been destroyed because there's a later episode where something happens and the Doctor dies, and it shows you all the stuff that would have happened had he not been around to save it. So the Titanic crashes into Buckingham Palace. It nukes all of London. So all we lose is London. Which is fine.
Small margin.
And and then all this other horrible stuff happens. But yes, no, you're right. Apparently there's a bunch of things around that. Apparently they were hoping to try and get a cameo from Prince Charles, which is why they wrote in all that stuff.
Right. What would he...
But also they were going to destroy Buckingham Palace. Because there was an early episode where the Houses of Parliament get blown up.
Oh, okay.
So I wonder if they were just going to do a similar thing to that. But then they decided, because it was a Christmas episode, they didn't want to do all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, she'd probably... Would she even have done her speech yet or whatever? I don't know. Like, people might be freaking out.
I think it was
like,
first thing in the morning.
Oh no, what are they going to say about the budget? Or whatever. I don't know anything about the royals.
They pre-film the Queen's speech, don't they? It's not live.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they pre-film it. They'd have been fucked because they'd have been like,
oh no. Oh, mate. Like, we can't... I mean, I guess we could show it. Maybe they have like two. And like, in the event that I have been murdered by a giant ship.
The Queen's speech. If you are watching this, I am dead.
Oh, I really hope she does one like that. Because what age is she now? Like 90?
Don't know.
She's like tiptoeing around, you know, the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
So you wanted to get a backup. I would totally do that if I had any sort of... If people were going to watch something that I put out there.
A backup? Like a double?
No, like, just like whenever I was...
Keira Knightley in Phantom Menace.
Yes. Or maybe I could get enough plastic surgery so that Keira Knightley could be my double.
How did we get to the Queen? Oh yeah, so we were talking. Yeah, we were on.
So the little newspaper guy, being like, "Oh, I love London."
So the joke is that obviously in the previous two Christmas episodes, something terrible happened to London, and so it's
so
like
those things had happened. Oh, okay. I thought this was like an annual cruise that happened every year, and then they'd always like shot down, like, because he said there were ships above London, and what was the other one?
Yeah, there was a big ship above London in the first Christmas special. The second one was another ship.
Okay.
And both of them were doing damage, but it's kind of it's quite funny actually, because that's what you always think about. I always think about when the EastEnders Christmas episode, you're just like, don't hang about,
stay in, or
go out,
go to Tenerife or something.
Aye, exactly, because something terrible always happens in Albert Square.
Yeah, or like Midsummer, don't live there.
Exactly. I know. Midsummer's the sort of British Sunnydale, isn't it?
Yeah. Although Sunnydale.
I always love the joke in Sunnydale. It's like it's really difficult the insurance prices are through the roof. The thing I quite like about this episode is obviously they tried to make it kind of like a big disaster film. And I think they do a really good job because the characters are. I really like the two. I like the couple.
The competition winners.
Marvin and Foon.
Is that the competition winners?
Yeah, the competition winners. I always think Russell T Davies is really good at characters like that. And it's very much his style, and but also I like the robots. I like the creepy robots as well.
Yes, I suppose so. I like how they were very honest. We're like, information, kill. Like, that was quite, because like you wouldn't get that sort of honesty from a sentient being, like.
No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't get that. You would just be like, do you know what, mate? I know you're going to kill me. And I liked the Doctor when he was reasoning with them. Because I was like, how's he going to get out of this? I thought, this is it. He's dead. It's just going to be like 20 minutes of floating about or something like that for the rest of the episode. I don't know. But I liked that bit when he was like, I'll use our logic against them.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, what a great Doctor. What a great mind he is.
He's good. I mean, I do like David Tennant. It's funny when I say to you the episode that was given you and you went, oh no, not David Tennant. And it didn't even occur to me that you might not like him because he's one of those well, especially in Doctor Who, but he's one of those actors or characters or that I'm always a bit like when someone says they don't like him, I'm like, What?
You got a heart.
How? I don't understand.
I think it's just because whenever I see stuff, he's always got such an eager face.
Yeah.
It's as if he's like...
He does a lot of stuff through his teeth as well.
And it's as if he's like willing me to care. And I'm not there yet. Maybe one day, David. Maybe one day.
He's very good at the... like, one thing I like about the Doctor is, obviously he's quite heroic, but he does love himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes across... And that comes across really well. Like, he's such a poser, but he's also... Like, the thing I love about it is... God, I'm really bad at this. I can't remember specific lines, but he's always dropping things. He always says things, he drops things where you're like, is that a thing that happened? Are you lying? When he talks about being there at Christmas and all that sort of stuff, and you're like, that's just stuff he says.
Yeah.
You know.
Is there a reason because he's like, oh, Christmas is great. It's all about forgiveness and love and all this kind of stuff. What's that about?
That's just...
is that just Christmas chat?
That's just Christmas chat, yeah.
Okay. I thought there was like a subplot.
It's so funny, like the Doctor Who Christmas special has really brought Christmas into Doctor Who when there is absolutely no Christmas in classic Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
There's like maybe a couple of references. There's one really funny, like in the first Doctor, like they have one reference to Christmas in one of the 60s episodes, and then he turns to the camera and he's like, and incidentally, have a Merry Christmas at home. And I love the idea of that. Like I love that. Like I love the idea of Peter Capaldi or someone doing that in the internet going absolutely tonto.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I just really struggle to. I mean, as great as Christmas is, you know, and as great as I'm sure the human race is, like, if you've been going about all the planets and all like everything, like, is that really the best thing? Would you really come back every year?
He has they've established that the Doctor has an obsession with Earth.
Why?
It's just his favourite.
What's your favourite planet or race in Doctor Who?
Yeah, my favourites can only be baddies.
Daleks?
I'm really into the Cybermen.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, they established that the Doctor's obsessed with Earth and it's his favourite, and you know he's had to live there from time to time, and you know that sort of stuff. That's obviously just because the show is, you know, it's just something that they've acknowledged after years of alien invasions and all that sort of stuff, all being set on Earth, because it's a show, it's a television show that's made on the planet Earth.
That is, I mean, yeah. I mean, I just think with a little bit more imagination.
I think the problem is money. But also, like, you got Doctor Who's you're still aiming for a mainstream audience, so you got to get a bit of. It's got something relatable there, you know.
Oh, that's why you've got the people like,
But like, I think the thing I really like about Russell T Davies's period is that it's so grounded, like, and not in terms of like it's grounded and there's not a lot of scope. I mean, it's really like it's so relatable and it's so grounded, and just the dialogue and the characters are so recognizable, and but it's a big mad science fiction show, and like I think they've sort of pulled in, and also. For me personally, there's definitely a connection with Christmas films and like fantasy. And it probably is for a lot of people, because like, I mean, I don't really particularly like watching directly Christmas films just about people at Christmas.
Gremlins
is fantasy.
No, it's
monsters. I mean. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what I mean, you would like to watch that.
Yeah. You know.
Something where it's like Christmas in the background, but it's not necessarily the main thing.
Yeah, I suppose. But I mean, there's also, I don't know, the Doctor Who Christmas episodes. There was an interview recently where Stephen Moffat said it's all bollocks. It's like they come out every year and they say that the Christmas episodes are different because of X and Y. But he's like, they're not really. They're just set at Christmas.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't believe him, because I've been watching them all recently, and it's a bit like, I don't believe him. It's like there's always an acknowledgement of the fact that more people are watching it, but it also feels like a special.
Yeah.
It feels like an event, but it's also kind of warm and nice. And
you think there's less. They're not going to do something super backstory-ish at Christmas,
Exactly.
are they? So, because like someone like me,
except this Christmas apparently, but
oh really?
well, the Christmas episode that's on this year's like it's got the first Doctor in it and Peter Capaldi, and he's going to regenerate into. So I don't know. I'll see how they do it. Anyway, sorry. Carry on. What were you saying? I just totally stopped all of you.
Yeah, but I mean, just kids. If there's people, I don't know. We'll see what happens at Christmas time.
Happens.
We'll see. Let's see what other notes that I've got.
I like the scene. There's a scene in the middle where it's like, okay, we're doing a disaster film. We have to kill off a lot of characters. Let's have this one scene where half of them die, and it's the bit in the bridge where they're trying to bridge over. Do you notice how many people die in that one bit?
I mean, including the angels.
Oh yeah. Well, Bana Kafalata uses his EMP.
Oh, also, like, the Doctor, is he a racist?
Okay, go on.
He refused to say Balakafalata's full name. He was like,
Bana Kafalata.
That's too complicated.
You're right. You know what I'm saying about this
I'm
morning?
going to call you
That's
Barry or whatever.
You want to call him Bana.
Bana, that was it.
And that is like when, it's like when people have quite complicated names and people just, I'm just going to call you Ian.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, oh my goodness.
That's a wee bit problematic, isn't it?
It's very problematic. And I was like, well, you know, or maybe it's like a shout out to all the racist uncles at Christmas dinner.
No, well, actually, maybe. Because Bana Kafalata is like, no.
I was like, no, it's not. That's not my name. It's Bana Kafalata. It's not that hard.
We're gonna die.
Are you saying
We are. We're gonna die. We're gonna die on this ship.
First things first. 1, we're going to climb through this ship. 2, we're going to reach the bridge. 3, or C, we're going to save the Titanic. And coming in a very low 4, or D, or that little IV in brackets that use in footnotes. Why? Right then, follow me.
Hang on a minute. Who put you in charge? And who the hell are you anyway?
I'm the Doctor. I'm a Time Lord. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Castelbarus. I'm 903 years old, and I'm the man who's going to save your lives and all 6 billion people on the planet below. You got a problem with that?
No.
In that case, allons-y!
Oh, and also, does he say allons-y a lot?
Okay, yeah, so Allons-y is his catchphrase.
Is it? Because I was
and
just...
then there's an earlier episode where he's like, I'd love to meet someone called Alonzo. And I can say Allons-y, Alonzo. And then...
That's really shoehorned in, isn't it? It's quite annoying. For me to watch.
I remember watching it and I got a big laugh.
Right. From you.
And the person I was watching it with. But I remember him saying, because when he says, what's your name? He's like, Alonzo. And he's like, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
And it's that's good.
There's nothing we can do. There's no power. The ship's gonna fall.
Titanic falling.
What's your first name?
Alonso.
Titanic falling.
You're kidding me.
Titanic
What?
falling.
Something else I've always wanted to say.
Allons-y,
Alonzo!
I like that.
I guess so.
See, I love all that shit.
I was just...
I'm like, see, that's the thing. Like, when I watched Doctor Who back then, I was a lot more uptight than I am now.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this stuff now, I'm just like, It's like when they brought Tom Baker into the... they gave some loose explanation as to why they had a Tom Baker cameo in the anniversary episode. Mm-hmm. And it was it's a really good explanation. But then a lot of people ask me, like, why is he in it? And I'm like, I don't care. I just like that he's there.
Okay, I do appreciate that. That seems cool.
Because it's just a big daft show that can be anything at once.
Yeah, I guess so. But I was just like, because you were saying like Allons-y and stuff, I was just thinking of like
Allons-y,
the Doctor
Allons-y
on
is his catchphrase, yeah.
on like Duolingo or something like that. It's like me trying to shoehorn it in. Like...
So it's completely out of context. You'd be like, "What is that line all about?"
Yeah.
No, I get you.
But that made me think. Oh, I don't know. There's just so many things. I mean, you're saying it was made 10 years ago and stuff like that. There's so many Brexit things in it though. So many like. Where I was just like, the Doctor knows, because when he was explaining, because when he's what's his name, Mr. Cooper, him and Mr. Cooper on Earth at the end, and he's like, Great Britain is part of Europe, and I was like, That's sad.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not true for that much longer. It's almost as if he's slagging us off. He's speaking French really badly. And he's acknowledging that we're no longer part of Europe. But it just made me feel really sad. It's like he knew our future.
I've made you... because the Doctor would know, wouldn't he?
He wouldn't. He
He's like,
obviously did know.
oh, you've got Brexit coming up. I'm not going to tell you. Well, he wouldn't tell you, though. Because that's, it's bad telling people their future.
Yeah. I mean, it's bad living in it, so... yeah. I guess that is... Yeah, I don't know. If he told me that 10 years ago, I'd be like, shut up, Tennant. Doctor, or whatever.
So it's established in a later episode that Mr. Copper set up a charity.
Oh, what for?
I can't remember. Honestly can't remember.
For old men.
So there's David Tennant's last full series,
Mm-hmm.
there's an episode that's like ridiculous, but it has like everyone in it. Mm-hmm. And there's loads of references to everyone. So it's like all the companions come back in one episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like because the Daleks are invading Earth,
mm-hmm.
so they all come together. But there's a reference to the Mr. Copper Foundation, which suggests that he went away. Because like at the end of the episode, you're like, you've given him £1 million. Like, I mean,
no,
like,
he had £1 million.
He had £1 million. Sorry, you're
petty
like,
cash.
There's a party that's thinking his life is ruined. You've made him a millionaire. He's going to turn into a terrible person. But he went and started a charity, so that's nice.
That's nice.
But
he was like, remember, be careful or something like that, or like I don't know. He gives him.
Just stay out the way.
Something like that.
Yeah. Because he's put him there and he's not meant to be there.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's funny when the Doctor sort of pops up and says, "I'm going to try and not get involved." It's like, mate, you're so heavily involved. How you like? Okay, so actually, I've written down here messianic imagery, which is something the show took a few pelters for. It's like quite a lot of the times David Tennant's looking a bit kind of godlike.
Oh yeah, when he gets lifted
by the angels.
That was a bit ridiculous. And also I just found the angels flying just a total lol. I mean, they're somewhere in between Oddjob from James Bond. Mm-hmm. And just ridiculous lol. Just I don't know.
Ridiculous. I don't understand what the lol if that's a mocking lol.
I don't know. I haven't decided. I mean, just when they left, I just put hosts with wings lol. Because when they just suddenly started flying, it's like, how did they spend the whole episode being like, oh, I forgot I can fly, and then suddenly they were like banging on the door for like half an hour, and they're like, oh crikey, we're fine, and then suddenly they were like, no, we're not, they can fly. Like, how did they forget that? They're robots.
Well, maybe they were just, I don't know.
It just seems silly to me.
It's like, why in films do they always leave the biggest weapon that they can use to the last minute when all the other weapons have not worked? It's just one of those things, isn't it? It's because it's what needs to happen in the story for tension, I suppose. Maybe
I don't
know. Maybe only some of them can fly.
It's sort of like, maybe, but I mean, it's because it's like in Jurassic Park when they can open doors. Like, they've only learned that they can do that. Surely the angels already know they can do that. It just didn't, to me, I was just like, this seems silly. That's my feedback.
You know what it is? When they come flying in from above,
mm-hmm.
they have to go, they're stuck outside the door, they probably have to go, it's not that they just jumped over the wall, so they have to go a completely different route.
But they... Alright, okay, that makes sense.
They were like, we're going to have to go down that corridor, along here, that door is blocked off because of debris, so we're going to have to... Complicated route. We'll get over the top. They'll probably still be there when we get up there.
I really like the idea of them having a wee huddle. Like, right, lads, what's the best way to go catch all these guys?
You guys stay here and keep trying to get through the door.
Just keep banging, just distract them. Because they're thinking in a sort of human way, semi-human way, to be like, distract them, make them think they're safe. I don't know. I find it... Yeah, but yeah, so many people die on that bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like her because like the cowboy, does she not lasso?
Oh yeah, Fun.
And then it's like Fun.
Well, because her husband's dead.
I'd just be like, whatever. I'll just sell off all of my debt with him. Like, because she was heavily in debt, wasn't she? Getting onto that cruise, so she could just get a life insurance policy or something like that. Like, I just don't believe that he was all that she had to live for.
They were
She
in
was
love.
still fairly young. Like she could have loved
She
again.
found she was in love. She was distraught. She thought her life was over, and she saw a way to save everyone else.
I mean, that is pretty noble. That is pretty.
So
good.
she was just like, right, I'm away.
Let's be. No, that is true. I guess that is true. But yeah, there's a lot of like women just chucking themselves to their death in that episode.
I did think like Kylie going over the edge at the end was a bit like, you didn't have to. You could have just driven and hit the brake as he was going over.
Aye, exactly, or jumped out or something.
Yes.
Yeah, like why? Like why? Just like, oh, that's me. Why? Bye. I hope no Australians are listening to this.
He should be busy. Something's wrong.
But it's beautiful.
Really? Do you think so? It's just a street. The pyramids are beautiful, and New Zealand.
It's a different planet. I'm standing on a different planet. There's concrete and shops, alien shops, real alien shops. Look, no stars in the sky. And it smells. It stinks. Oh, this is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah? Come on, then. Let's have a look.
I'm going to throw another bit of interesting trivia for you. Dennis Hopper was originally meant to play Mr. Copper.
Really?
And then it was going to be Max Capricorn. And then Russ, because his agent contacted him and said Dennis Hopper wants to be in Doctor Who. And they were like, what? Okay, fair enough. But then it got a bit complicated, and I think again, I'm getting this from this book, Russell T Davies was like, actually if we put Dennis Hopper in the episode, it's going to take away from Kylie, which we don't want to do.
Yeah.
So he was never in it, and then he died, so he's never going to be in Doctor Who. Dennis Hopper's dream of being in Doctor Who went unfulfilled, which is very sad.
That is sad. And just because, I mean, they could have just plasticed him up or something. He could have been Banakafalata or something. Couldn't he?
Like when Mick Fleetwood was in Star Trek.
Exactly. Precisely.
You
Yeah.
have him doing nothing, but he's there. He's there.
It's like, and he'd be like, yes, internally.
It's like the biggest movie star that the show's ever had. And he was in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's great. I would love that. See if I could be asked to be on Casualty. Similar thing.
Yeah.
But if I was like a corpse in the background just getting wheeled, but you'd see like, wait, and you see me waving from underneath. Hi, Mum.
Big climax. Like, I get way wrapped up in this stuff and I get really, really into it. So I'm just like, yes, when the music's playing and the wind's blowing and he's pulling at the wheel.
I almost forgot about. I got a bit bored at that bit, but by that point I was a bit bored. I think the Alonso thing had
Had it thrown you
distracted
off
me.
completely?
Just like Brexit. It just got me thinking. Maybe a bit sad. So yeah, okay. So that was exciting, and he was like, "Well, but you knew he was going to pull it up in the end because it was going towards Buckingham Palace. There's no way that they would crush it on Christmas Day."
Well, they nearly did.
Sadly.
They nearly did though.
I know.
But and also Kylie's death. Did it make you sad, or were you just sort of like, aye?
I mean, I thought it was a bit rude of the Doctor to be like, oh, I want to try and save her and I'm going to reconstitute the transport device to get, and then she was like, oh, I'm falling, and she was in like eternal damnation, like some purgatory, just so he could look at her. He's just a very selfish man.
He was trying to save her.
Yeah, but why?
That was
she wanted...
the message there was like, look, you can't save
and the guy was like,
everyone.
let her go, she's constantly dying now.
Constantly dying.
It's like, she's like, oh.
And then he blew her out the window. Opened the window and she got sucked out like a bad fart. Get that window open. She stinks.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I was a little bit teary, but I knew she wouldn't be in it for longer because she's too famous.
I know. It's funny actually when people turn up in Doctor Who and they're like, you know, it's like in a lot of TV shows. It's like, or when someone gets together or something with a guest star, they're like, well, something's gonna go wrong here.
Oh yeah.
I think you're gonna die.
Oh no. Oh.
Or you're gonna turn out to be terrible or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
I do think that more high caliber, or not high caliber, but highly paid actors should just slum it for the story's sake.
I think a lot of people do. Like, I think a lot of people will take reduced rates to appear on stuff that they love.
But mega reduced to a whole series.
Oh, right. It's like I can either be in one episode and have it be all about me, or be in an entire series and have to do a year's work.
Yeah, it's like how much do they truly love it then? They can't be like, oh, I really love it. And it's like, because I'm getting, $50K for a week. So I don't know what people get.
I know,
paid.
it's always like they took a reduced rate. It's like, how reduced was it though?
Yeah.
It's still probably more than I make in a year for a week.
Exactly. Precisely. So, and if you really love it, if you really love it, you would sacrifice a year to live in Cardiff.
Dennis Hopper could have been the 11th Doctor.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say that now because he is dead.
Kicking him out with a shotgun.
Why not? A screwdriver shape.
My sonic shotgun.
It could be quite good.
Overall, how did the experience leave you? How did you feel?
Angry. No.
I never want to speak to you again.
I mean, it wasn't my favourite thing.
Okay.
But it was Christmas, so we do sit through a lot of unnecessary crap for the people we love at this time of year.
Okay.
So I just think
that's interesting. So I think I made an arse of this one.
Mm.
I do genuinely think that Gav and Owen enjoyed the episodes that I showed them, but that's out of the sort of the politeness that comes with, okay, I'm going to keep as open in mind as possible, and they watched it, and like what they were watching is different from what they thought of as Doctor Who. I've given you something that's a bit more, because I've given you modern Doctor Who, which
you've given me exactly everything I thought.
Yeah. Okay. I see that's the thing. Like, modern Doctor Who now has eras. You know what I mean? And like, I thought Doctor Who now is quite different from what it was then, but there's still a lot of what it was and what it is now. If that makes sense.
No.
Okay, well, but you at least pleased you had the experience.
I am. Do you know what? I'm open-minded enough that I would give it another go.
Okay. Maybe I should give you maybe you should watch the one I was gonna give you. You might enjoy that.
Maybe.
What?
Who was the Doctor in that one?
It was David Tennant again.
Ugh.
Is it David? Do you have a problem with David Tennant?
I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I don't know. We'll keep trying.
The episode I was going to give you has Alex Kingston in it as well.
Oh, from ER.
Yes. It's her first appearance, actually. She plays a regular character.
Ooh.
But maybe that can be next time.
Next time on I Hate Doctor
See, this is kind of you're still being quite polite. There's like people keep saying to me, actually, is like, you should get someone who really hates it. Like, you should get someone who really hates it on. I'm like, that'll be difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
But actually, I'm kind of feeling a wee bit warmer to the idea now. So
yeah, you really want someone just to have a total go at it.
Someone will be like,
I mean, I have ripped into the Doctor for being selfish and killing women.
Killing women.
I mean, through
moving them into a position that allows them to be killed.
Exactly.
Well, actually, that's the sort of so a year later, a theme that comes up is that the idea that the Doctor, who himself is a pacifist, turns all these people into weapons.
Right.
So like, there's a line about how like his, he himself is a pacifist, but all the people that run about with him turn into, mad killers. Well, not mad killers, but it's almost like he's crafting them into weapons. But this is a villain that's saying this to him to try and make him feel bad.
Good.
But obviously they have a flashback.
Side.
One of the people that, because there's a few people that have died in service of the Doctor. And one of them comes up as Kylie.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that you've point that you spotted that.
Yeah. I mean, it's very difficult to miss it. He's just like whacking women into the abyss.
Just throwing women at
Kicking them.
Daleks. There you go.
It's
And
like
then running away.
10-pin bowling. Just smacking angels. I had a wee look on Twitter and I don't know how to answer some of them.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
Are they for you?
Mostly. Wongarito asks, favourite monster, excluding the big lads like the Daleks and that.
The
Zygon.
Doctor. I think he's the biggest monster. Biggest monster of all.
I quite like the Zygons and the Ice Warriors. I'm big into the Ice Warriors. I'm gonna just rip through these.
Run it down.
I know. I'm gonna see which ones. David McGregor asks, right, here goes. Is that the one with Russell Tovey in it? Yes, David.
Yes, we've discussed that. Thank you for listening, David.
Oh no, he does. Right, okay. So David asks, does it annoy you that this is one of the ones where they pretend that any alien species would find Earth novel or uninteresting enough to theme a trip in an excruciating amount of detail on a solitary Earth disaster?
Yes.
Well, the people didn't know that it was based on a disaster. That was just some sort of dramatic irony that Max Capricorn wanted.
Mm-hmm. Because he was like, do you know why it's called the Titanic? And then as if like an in-joke for all his Earthlings. Yeah.
For everyone that he's killed.
Yeah, but I do agree. It's like, why, where are they from? I'm much more, again, we had that conversation. I'm much more interested in their planet than ours right now. just like, I mean...
Because there's nice little bits of lore building, like about the cyborg rights and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I like all that kind of
because
stuff.
you can get married now and
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, you should almost get married to a robot.
That's was that not? When did the gay marriage bill start happening?
I think it was it as late as like 2010,
not even that long ago.
2012 or something?
Dave,
but that was in Scotland first and then
the
rest of the UK after.
Oh, of course. Demon Tomato Dave asks, here's my question, why did you make someone watch Voyage of the Damned? Come on.
Thank you, Dave.
I do, like, I'm now thinking I should have made you watch Christmas Carol because I watched it recently and I really enjoyed it. And you might like that one more. It's got a shark in it.
Do you know what? Christmas is all about regrets.
It's very Christmassy, actually.
And, yeah. So don't worry about it. It's all the spirit of the season.
Dr. Toffnar asks, do you think there's anything to be said for a Doctor Who movie with an increased budget and perhaps a shift in tone? Or do the specials act as a reasonable substitute? I don't think there should be a shift in tone.
I think it would be unfair without Dennis Hopper to have an increased budget because, like, what did he die for?
I've always really wanted. I'd love a big, expensive Doctor Who movie, but it's interesting because it's like it would just have to be a big, expensive episode because every episode's kind of.
But I mean, I like the.
But if Voyage of the Damned was made as a movie, you wouldn't have a scene in the middle where they had to kill off half the characters.
Well, we can't go into overtime.
It's like we've got this set. We're not going to build any more sets, so let's have a scene where everybody dies here. Does knowing Clive Swift is a massive bell-end now take anything away from the character Mr. Copper? So Clive Swift, in he was being interviewed for this episode, he was saying things like, I shouldn't even have to do this, I'm not being paid, am I? And he was digging into the journalists, and at one point he was basically saying, like, Doctor Who isn't all that. You take it all so seriously, but there's other things out there.
I like him more as a result. I mean, that's exactly what I said to Richie at the start of this podcast.
It's like there's more to life than this.
More to
Richie.
life. I'm not getting paid.
Get out the house. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna ask Gav's question. You're legally obliged to house a life-size Madame Tussauds quality waxwork of Tom Baker in his Doctor Who garb. Which room do you stand him in? Tom must be placed near a window and requires a monthly jelly baby to keep his pelt shiny. Obviously, the bedroom.
Is he a judge? Is this some kind of punishment that he's going to actually foist upon somebody?
Possibly.
I mean,
does Gav have this power?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would say in the bathroom, but I don't have a window in my bathroom. Is this like
you exactly? You'd want them standing by the window, so then people walk past your house, they'd go, "Oh, you fucker, what's that?"
Oh, or maybe I could do like a Home Alone style thing.
Yeah, you put it on a train.
Yeah, that's what I do. Just in case. I mean, I live quite high up, but if anyone could look into my house, you could just see him. Yeah,
see Tom Baker.
Yeah, is
running
that the one
around
with
in
the
a circle?
scarf?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'd want. It may be a bit of a fire hazard, but I'm willing to take that risk.
Oh yeah, so I asked what people thought a good Christmas special should be. I mean, this could maybe even apply to more programmes. A simple standalone romp, nothing too taxing or continuity heavy.
Yeah.
Christmas theme is optional, not obligatory.
Yeah.
I want to be reminded of Christmas.
I mean, right, when you say Christmas theme is optional, like, do you mean, I think I agree with that, where it's like in the background and it's happening, but it's not necessarily central to it.
Oh yeah,
like,
right. Yeah,
it's not like
yeah.
Santa is a baddie
Got
or something.
Got you. Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But so it'd be like this episode, Jingle Bells. And snow and stuff. Yes.
I'll pretend it's snowing in this room right now. Funnier than usual is fine, so a good sense of humour, yeah. Nothing embarrassing.
Is this a dating app again?
Yeah, I don't know. There is an interesting thing about Doctor Who Christmas episodes is that because you end up because I'm sure a lot of fans get this, but if you're watching it with people who don't watch it before, there's quite frequently I found myself having the conversation of like, it's usually better than
Oh
this.
yeah. Yes. Like when
it's
I make people watch.
It's usually better than this.
When I make people watch Casualty.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
It's like actually Danny and Finlay, who I do a video on Amnesty with, they were like, we're gonna watch it. Finlay was like, he was kind of into how much I love Doctor Who, but it wasn't for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I'm going to watch an episode of Doctor Who with you, because he wanted to watch a new one when I was excited, and it was the one with Davros in it, and Missy had come back, and it was just like he had no idea what was going on. Mm-hmm. It was just like,
did he like it though?
I don't think so, because he had no idea what was.
Oh.
There was nothing there for him to enjoy, because it was like
gets teeth into. Was it like a fan?
It was a
fan
bit. It was
one.
really, and I was quite aware of it afterwards, because I was just like, oh.
So,
it would have been nice if it was just like a good standalone episode.
Because I think, with a standalone, I think you can have certain nods to things, to previous episodes and things, and that's exactly that's nice. But you're correct. I think it should be. You don't need to invest that. You don't need to be reading a Wikipedia page about sonic screwdrivers or whatever while you're doing it. Because like I'm a casual Whovian. Is that a Whovian? Is that what you call yourself? I'm not that much of a. I don't think I would actually deserve that title.
Casual one,
no. And I'm just I don't know. I dip in and out. I'm in the paddling pool of Who.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And it is funny. It's that thing that, like, when you show someone a TV show, watch this episode. We're going to watch an episode. You never show someone a new episode, because, especially with Doctor Who, like we can all admit this. Like, there's a lot of really bad Doctor Who out there. It's just any show that has infinite possibilities and every week has to do something different. There's going to be some clangers, and there's quite a few clangers.
I feel
but
bad.
then when it hits,
it
really hits for me anyway.
Yeah, no, I guess I feel maybe. Do you know what? I'm open-minded. This is how I feel. I mean, I hated every minute of it, every hour and 12 minutes. But
I know, maybe I should start giving people shorter episodes.
But I will not.
It's fine. You're allowed to hate it.
I'll not rule out watching it again in the future. Well, not that episode.
Tell you what, phone in sick and we'll watch another one right now.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we should bring this to a close.
Okay.
I'm very grateful that you've endured 75 minutes of Doctor Who and 90 minutes of talking to me about it.
It's been a pleasure.
Good.
the latter part. The latter.
If anyone wants to, I mean, I'm sure she won't be open to your questions, but if anyone wants to talk to Laura on Twitter, she's at DoHoodle. And I am at Bobby_Davros. Am I? Need to check that. Yeah. And I am at Bobby_Davros. I'm sorry that the upstairs neighbours have just started doing DIY. It's lunchtime on a is it Tuesday? Yeah,
it's Tuesday.
It's lunchtime Tuesday, so I guess they think there's probably nobody home.
That is fair.
I'll be like, I'm trying to record a Doctor Who podcast down here. Also, in a couple of weeks, well, I don't know how long it'll take them to edit it, but shortly after Christmas, I'm going to be on the Time Lash, which is another Doctor Who podcast. So, look forward to that.
I am.
Good.
I'm looking forward.
Are you looking forward to it? You're
Yep.
going to listen to it?
Of course.
4 grown men talking about the Doctor Who Christmas special.
Oh, yes.
No, I'm really looking forward to it. I enjoy doing it. So I just at least want to say, have a good Christmas, Laura.
Have a good Christmas, Richie.
Thank you. And everyone have a good Christmas and good Christmas Doctor Who special. Try not to cry too hard.
Have a good Christmas, everyone.
That was good. Bye.
Bye.